China's rapid military advancements and the expansion of its naval power have raised concerns on the global stage. As China introduced itself as the world's leading naval power, the United States responded by pledging to build an arsenal of uncrewed ships, aircraft, and autonomous systems. But the US, which used to call China a copycat, seems to be copying China. The experts revealed that this US initiative is nothing more than a replica of China's decade-long strategy for developing unmanned ships. China's ascendancy as the world's foremost naval power has been a topic of global discussion. According to the BBC, China is now home to the world's largest navy. This status has granted China a significant advantage in the maritime domain, bolstering its position as a global leader. Analysts have praised China's rapid progress in its ability to produce large numbers of unmanned systems quickly, efficiently, and cost-effectively. This accomplishment has been made possible by leveraging the synergy between its military and commercial sectors. This approach has allowed China to build a substantial fleet of unmanned systems, and it is this strategy that the United States now appears to be imitating. The Replicator Initiative, unveiled by Kathleen Hicks, the Deputy Defense Secretary of the United States, aims to build a formidable fleet of unmanned systems. These systems include uncrewed ships, aircraft, and various autonomous platforms. The goal is to field these systems within the next 2 years, with a focus on deterring potential aggression from China. One notable aspect of the Replicator Initiative is its emphasis on attributable systems. Attrition warfare aims to wear down the enemy's capabilities while maintaining combat power, even in the face of losses. This strategy aligns with the United States' objective of making the cost of aggression against them too high for China to contemplate. Kathleen Hicks has highlighted the importance of countering China's numerical advantage, which includes more ships, missiles, and personnel. The United States seeks to convey the message that any attack on them would come at a prohibitive cost to China, whether in 2027, 2035, or 2049. But the enthusiastic plan looks more than an absurd idea when you see it. It is just China's project's copy. So in simple words, the US copied what China did and presented it as its plan, assuming it would gather praise. But people traced the initiative and made it clear that the plan aligns with China. China has set ambitious goals for its military modernization. By 2027, which marks the People's Liberation Army's centenary, China aims to provide strategic support for the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Some American military leaders, including retired Admiral Philip Davidson, have interpreted this as a potential timeline for China's actions against Taiwan. But let's just not forget the fact that the US uses other nations to take benefits. Even its support for Ukraine turned out to be driven by its interest. So making the Taiwan issue an excuse to prepare for war is something you can expect from the US. Taiwan remains a contentious issue in China-American relations, with Beijing viewing it as a breakaway province and the United States supporting Taiwan's autonomy. While the timeline for China's potential actions against Taiwan remains uncertain, the United States remains excited about the war in the name of safeguarding Taiwan's interests. So, the US aims to make its navy better to fight with China. But China's long-term goals extend beyond 2027. By 2035, the Chinese Communist Party envisions a fully modernized military. By 2049, which marks the centenary of the People's Republic, the goal is for the People's Liberation Army to become a world-class military. The breakdown in communication between the United States and China's defense officials has heightened tensions. Washington has criticized Beijing for refusing to engage in dialogue amid ongoing disputes over Taiwan and the South China Sea. China, in response, has mentioned US sanctions against Chinese defense officials and arms sales to Taiwan as reasons for the lack of high-level dialogue. At this point, one question should also be asked to the US. Why is it not letting dialogue between Russia and Ukraine happen? When asked this, the US goes blank. John Gravatt, an expert in defense intelligence, has emphasized the urgency of Kathleen Hicks's message for the US's military initiative. He suggests that the United States perceives itself as lagging behind China in the development of large numbers of drones. China enjoys several advantages in its proximity to Taiwan and the South China Sea, allowing for rapid deployment and vast manufacturing capabilities. The PLA's current use of drones in its near-daily flight highlights the strategic significance of unmanned systems in modern warfare. China has conducted numerous reconnaissance missions using drones in 2023 alone. While Kathleen Hicks did not explicitly mention Taiwan, She stressed that Replicator would counter China's anti-access and area denial capabilities. These strategies aim to prevent foreign forces from entering a theater of war. In the event of a conflict, China's deployment of its Shandong aircraft carrier and drones near Taiwan's east coast could hinder American forces from Guam and Japan from assisting Taiwan. The Replicator initiative's strategic objectives are very complex and have flaws. Timothy Heath, a senior international defense research analyst at the RAND Corporation, explains that the United States intends to build fleets of unmanned aircraft and self-guided munitions under Replicator. These systems are designed to be numerous and relatively inexpensive, with the capability to flood the battle space. But if these are only statements, or can happen, remains a question. Currently, the United States relies on crewed planes and ships operating from known and potentially vulnerable bases. China's knowledge of these base locations presents a challenge to the U.S. Attritable drones, on the other hand, offer greater mobility and can be launched from concealed locations such as jungles or forests. But the PLA can discover them. Both the United States and China are responding to similar technological trends by developing autonomous systems, although their intended uses may differ. China is actively developing uncrewed vehicles for its defense. It's because China can't attack anyone up front. It only says it will defend itself because China does not want to start a war in the world. Additionally, China seeks to incorporate big data and artificial intelligence into its military operations. But the U.S. lags. It is not able to compete with China's military. The initiative reflects the United States' commitment to show the world how good it is, when in fact, it is only replicating China. And its military power is not even close to China. In a world where technological advancements drive military capabilities, the pursuit of unmanned systems is a natural progression. As the United States and China continue their respective initiatives, the experts still think the U.S. won't be able to face China in a war. But the U.S. plan is to start a war. If China does nothing wrong, the U.S. will still start a war to create an environment where the world's progress will be seized. The U.S. wants to divide the world into two parties. And as China's power gives it an edge, the USA's decision to war will prove to be the worst decision of its ever.